Ah, okay, got through. Yes. So we'll start. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we are yeah. Yes. Seeing 19th verse, and I think 18th is clear at the first level. Rest is mananam. When Purva Pakshas are taken up, we'll take that at another time. It's a separate full class in itself, but with this flow of the topic, main topic, which is the fourth chapter, that we are continuing now. So,
PPT recording, sorry.
oh, is it? Thank you. Um, oh, thanks.
Recording in
God
progress.
bless. Dhanyavad. Mm. So, he said there is a very clear distinction for a jnani to recognize the standpoint, the perception of agyan. Agyan means jiva bhav. One who has atma gyan, such a one can very clearly see through, recognize the thinking, the vyavhar, the action, everything, because that jnani understands jiva bhav, has grown out of it through correction. So vidya जिसके पास है, the one who has knowledge will know the standpoint of agyan, the one who still is aspiring for it or is not established in it. and seeking it, or is completely not seeking it. Avidya, Jiva Bhav. In that Jiva Bhav, Shastra, the one who is a, bound by avidya, avidya expresses itself as what? As individual, as a Jiva Bhav. This avidyavan, at the moment we are calling that. Jiva Bhav means has hung on, clung on, clinged on, is holding on to the Jiva Drishti. I'm an individual is firm and is doing nothing to shake it, is not even suspecting it, and therefore can do nothing to shake it. Such a Jiva Bhav is Shastra's proclamation is Vidya, one who stands in that point of Vidya. Their proclamation to those who are still attached to avidya is that continuing to hold on to Jiva Bhav is the very source of continuity of Jiva Bhav. Let me put it this way. Holding on to Jiva Bhav is the continuity of the Jiva Bhav. What does that mean? Jiva Bhav only brings out desires and actions, and all atripti is the karan. That felt atripti, because of which constantly seeking tripti, that fulfillment, to make us see when we are in the vague means in the momentum of, in the flow of avidya, we are not seeing it. What? That this is correctable and nothing will be lost having corrected it. You cannot gain it because it is already there. So, what is the standpoint of Vidya telling to those who have the holding of avidya is A, that this standpoint of avidya is the source of all continuity of Jiva Bhav, and it's endless till one chooses to end it. How do you end it? It is correctable. Two. One is it is endless. Jiva perpetuates jivatvam. Jivatvam perpetuates jivatvam. And it's an endless cycle. So, what do I gain out of it? Nothing. What happens as a result of it is you are only prolonging the yatra, deha yatra, not this body. Multiple. Leave one, take another, leave one, take another, leave one, take another. You're just prolonging that. Because it is perpetuating. The second thing was, but it is not endless. It can be corrected. It can be put to an end. So, if it is to be put to an end, will I lose something? All of us feel, at least now I'm getting some lollipop happiness in life. I have some pleasures that I enjoy, and when I get those desires fulfilled, I am happy. Who says I'm not happy? I feel happy. Will that happiness go away? What will happen to this little happiness that I get? You don't have to doubt this, that once Jiva Bhav is corrected, there is nothing you lose. This little happiness is not lost, it only expresses as uninterrupted happiness. What I now get as a lollipop happiness, that lollipop happiness now becomes uninterrupted, because lollipop happiness, as long as lollipop is there, I have happiness. Once lollipop is gone, I yearn for it again at another point of time, or I want another lollipop, or I want another object, any of those. So, so this is correctable, and you don't lose anything. If you don't lose anything, do you have to work to gain it? You don't have to work to gain it. You're already there. It is already here. That Ananta Anandam. Can we even imagine what is Anantam? Think just for relaxation. When you're sitting by yourself, sometimes think what is called Anantam. What would you think that is? Whatever you identify as Anantam, that Anantam is Sukham. That is happiness. Yes, our idea of happiness and that Sukham will be so different in degrees that we probably cannot imagine this when we are in avidya. What is that nature of sukh, which is uninterrupted, unbroken? It is not something you can work for. Then what do I have to do? That atripti that one feels is actually dukh. It expresses as dukh. Various causes one may attribute to that feeling of atripti and dukh. But the springboard of all that I do, it becomes a springboard. So, truly speaking, is there something called shok or dukh? Call any term. Dukh, we'll leave it as dukh. But because Gita addresses shok, I'm bringing that up. But shok is nothing but dukh. If infinite expression of happiness is my real nature, is unbroken, I don't have to work for it, then is dukh real? If this happiness is ever there, then what is dukh? Is it there? No. That my non appreciation, recognition of this Purna Swabhav is what I am searching. जो मैं हूं वो मैं ढूंढ रही हूं. जो है उसको ढूंढ रहे हैं. That's the irony. That's the in in poetic terms, Vedantic poetic terms, you would say Maya. यही माया है. क्या माया है? And that Maya is not the Prakarnam Maya, it's just a way of saying this is it. जो है उसी को ढूंढ रहे हैं. What is there is what we are trying to find. What is already there and we are trying to find. Here he says that feeling that I am not complete is the dukh, and that dukh is not real. So you can do nothing to remove it. क्या कर सकते हो? उस दुख को हटाने के लिए क्या कर सकते हो? You can do nothing, because the dukh is a byproduct. It's emerged. It's not real. It's an experience recognized because I am not recognizing the sukh that is ever there. Aham sukhi. अगर हर पल हम इस भाव में रहें, जाने, you cannot practice it on willpower forever because something or the other will come and disturb us, topple us. But out of recognition, out of understanding, out of owning up, as they are saying, the Gyani does. He has separated the Karan of Dukh, which is Ahankar based Jiva Bhav, and he comes straight to Atma and he abides in it. उस दृष्टि के साथ जुड़ा रहता है. Abides in Atma Vidya in and through all the stages of life and all the happenings of life. Because he knows Atma is never lost, never gained, never changes, and he abides in it. उसके साथ जुड़ा है, युक्त है. That when one is not recognizing and is beginning to search, पूर्ण नहीं हूं, खुशी चाहिए, आनंद चाहिए, why am I unhappy? The very fact I don't recognize happiness itself is unhappiness. I'm pondering on this. What is really called unhappiness? Is it real? Is it there as something you can say, yes, because it is there, I should do something to remove it? You can only abide in right understanding, right knowledge. Once you understand and abide in it, there is nothing like dukh at all. So, Shastra does a lot of glorification of this Atma Drishti because that is the final accomplishment, you call it, or final destination, or final owning up, which will become changeless after that. There'll be no more seeking left. There's nothing to do. There is nothing to do. That doingness is coming from where? That atripti is the springboard for it. Atripti means not full, not satisfied. Shastra says this atripti, being entirely of the nature of mithya, being entirely not there, and yet felt, is only because, as I just said, imagine if you were always to abide in your sukha swabhav, always, nirantar, through everything that's happening. There'll be gain, there'll be loss, there'll be cold, there'll be heat, there'll be war, there'll be celebrations, there will be loss, there will be all pairs of opposites. Because karam kahan baitha hai? Where is change occurring? Change is the nature of the world. This will continue. You are finding your body as a part of the world. It also belongs to the world. Therefore, the interaction between the body and the world continues. When we say body and the world, obviously body doesn't do anything on its own. The apparent jiva, the apparent one who seems to be now moving the body to do what they ought to be doing. That apparent one is ज्ञानी, who has युक्त हो गया, जुड़ गया अपने आत्म स्वभाव के साथ. He is united, recognized, abides in that knowledge that I am Atma. In and through what? In and through all this that Anatma is dealing with. Such a drishti is glorified because here the seeking ends. So whoever has that knowledge accomplished is also glorified. What is this person's nature after that? What is this state that he lives with, how does he work then? It is almost saying it's parallel to Sthita Prajna, but here the context is only karma. So there is one parallel of that state, changeless abiding, but with reference to karma, because that's the topic. कर्म से वो लिप्त है कि नहीं है, कर्म से वो जुड़ता है कि नहीं है, जब वो कर्म करता है तो वो करता है कि नहीं है. Is he a, if he is a karta of the karma, then by the law of Ishvara itself, he will also be the bhokta of the karma. Then where is he a jnani? Then where is the liberation? Then he has to come back again to have a body. So when he is doing a karma, उसका अंतर स्थिति क्या है? अंतर स्थिति. What is the inner dwelling? I don't want to call it a state because it's not a passive thing. Where does this jiva rest, dwell within? Such a one is explained in 19 to 24 further, explaining away the state of this Jnani who is now obviously Mukt, but is also seen, he's Jivan Mukt. So अब दुनिया में तो है वो, कर्म कैसे करता है? Here he gives us the difference. We saw yesterday whose every karma is freed of काम and sankalp. Sankalp is generally taken at two stages. Here Bhashyakar has taken it as the first stage. What is the first stage? When there is an atripti, felt I am not complete. From that feeling comes lot of desires, lots of thoughts, called sankalpas thoughts. Lot of thoughts come. Because what is the idea? Idea is I want to fool myself. It's like saying, if I'm thirsty, very thirsty, it's heat, hot summers, and I'm in a temperature above 40 somewhere, and I'm very thirsty, and I go looking for water. I see a tap, and I think there's water. I open the tap, no water. What will happen? What will happen?
I want the water. Irritate with all this.
Yeah, okay. So what will happen?
Dukh aayega.
Okay. So what will happen?
You search for alternatives.
Exactly. You will search for alternative. You will now become more and more. You go a little ahead, another tab. When you see another, you've not reached there, but you see another tab. That vritti, when the first tap came, what happened? I'm thirsty. From far off, I see a tap. A hope triggers. With hope, mounts on that. Mounts means arud hoti hai. Arud means it actually mounts on that hope is my happiness. Because hope may, I see that, oh, I'll get water and that satiates my thirst and I'll feel tript. The stages I'm saying now. When I felt thirsty, I looked for water. That is a source of disturbance. Then I saw a tap. That disturbance changed into, those thoughts of disturbance changed into hope. In that hope, mounted, rides on it, my happiness. Hope is that horse. Rides on it is happiness, anticipating that I get water, and I'll be quenched, I'll be satisfied. My seeking will end. When I opened the tap, what happened to the happiness that was mounting on the hope? Suddenly plummeted, suddenly fell. When it plummeted, as high the hope was, so low it fell. And when it fell, it's great disturbance, more than the first disturbance. And my seeking starts again. I need to look for alternative source. I can't sit there and stand there and wait there and hope that water's reaching me. I'll move. I'll start moving. I'm doing anuvad, literally. I'll start moving, areas where all looking for areas where all can I find the source. So many thoughts will run my place, will run my mind. So many thoughts will run in the mind. Should I go another lane? Should I go somewhere else? Should I knock a if can I see a house? Can I possibilities that can be there? That's important. The possibilities that I can think. Now, the minute I see a possibility, of all the things that I have as a choice, the minute I recognize a possibility, again that dejection that plummeted, what happened? Towards out of those five possibilities, the one possibility that looks where my satiation, tripti can be felt, where there is a likelihood that this will be a source of water, again the hope rises, again happiness mounts on it, and that now that I have said out of all these, this is the choice I pursue, now starts the calm, and I start hoping. That hope now is there is water there in that tap. I go. What do you think? Is there water or not? In the second tap, what do you think? Was there water or not? This is a sutra. Is there a water or not?
Need not be.
Need not be. Very good. Need not be. ये तो creator के ऊपर है, means it's your, it need not be there. If it is there, what will happen to that hope on which the happiness is mounted? If there is water, what is happening? You feel I have got quenched. My happiness, yes, 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 yes. And then again, now what? I'm tired. I've been traveling too long. Few drops, okay. I've been traveling too long in search of it. Now what? Now I want to rest. That quenched thirst and fulfillment felt from it, how long did it last? And it's very often heard. This is not, I'm quite sure कोई भी सत्संग कहीं पे भी दुनिया में कभी भी किसी भी era में, in any generation you hear, you will find this example. Because it is the base of our entire identification of what we do foolishly as a jiva. जीव भाव में हम करते क्या हैं? That is an anuvad. Anuvad means restating what we do with the jiva bhav. Now that quenching cannot be paripurnata, because my thirst was not referring to myself being paripurna. The thirst that I felt was a limited goal that I had put for myself, hoping I will get happiness there. Has this example got translated clearly? That thirst is not of paripurnata. The thirst was with reference to a gain of something. कुछ चाहिए. Or if there is a thirst for कुछ चाहिए, I want something. I'm missing something. Make a list of things you're missing. As I always say, Bhagavad Gita has so much scope to make so much of impact in day-to-day life, and so much psychological and uh, exercise-based changes can come. Just to bring one to the point.
ज्ञानी का एग्जाम्पल,
Sorry,
अगर ये एग्जाम्पल ज्ञानी के लिए होता तो आप क्या बोलते हो?
ये एग्जाम्पल ज्ञानी के लिए होता कैसे होता?
So instead of a jiva, if a jnani was looking, what would be
No,
the
a
approach?
jnani is not going to look for. That thirst was a relative example to say I'm looking for something outside.
Okay.
That's what I said. If it is that, it's not to do with paripurnata. My thirst is referring to something I want from outside that I'm riding on a hope that it will make me paripurn.
Okay.
सो ज्ञानी तो सोच उसका तो वहां पे जाएगा ही नहीं, वो तो है ही नहीं. दैट इज व्हाट्स मेड हिम अ ज्ञानी. दैट इज व्हाट विल मेक अस अ ज्ञानी. 5 such experiences, and we should be coming to viveka buddhi, if not already at the first experience, at least by the 5th experience our viveka buddhi should now develop and say, what am I looking for? Is it there? Gyani wo bana kab? When he became vimukh from all this which we ride on calm and sankalp. So from all those things that we keep nailing down, up now this, now that, and our life goes away. As Shankara said in the Bhaj Govindam, Balastavat
क्रीडासक्तः,
Balastavat Krida Sakta, Tarunastavat.
तरुणीसक्तः,
These are all thirsts pegged. Vriddhastavat,
चिन्तासक्तः.
that is it. Nobody is paying attention to the fact that all this that I am spending my life seeking, वो तो ऑलरेडी प्राप्त है, उसको क्यों नहीं हम पहचानते? Instead of seeking outside with the hope that this is fulfilling me, why am I not putting that effort in discovering that there is no seeking needed? I'm already a sought. The sought is already here. What I'm seeking is already sought. वो है. So I don't need to create it. I don't need to work for it. This whose all karmas, samarambhaha, all karmas are devoid of any काम और संकल्प. Means वो कर्म तो कर रहा है, बहुत कर्म कर रहा है. A Gyani's life is also, can also be full of karma. They are not bound by it. They are not obligated for it. But a Gyani's, he's going to say it in the later verses, can also be full of karma. But what is it devoid of? In this verse, what are the words?
काम and संकल्प.
काम and sankalp. कर्म तो है, मगर काम और संकल्प वर्जित. What about us? हमारा कर्म, we want to make it अकर्म. करना नहीं. We want to escape doing what we should be doing. And we want fruit of it also. So काम है, संकल्प है, but कर्म नहीं है. You see the difference? What does a jiva do normally? Either he is stuck to karma for fruit, and then is a samsari, or has काम and sankalp but doesn't do karma for them. So, who is the one? How do you know that you are in that state of a karma of Atma or a karma of Jiva? How will you know that this is an akarma of Atma or a karma of Jiva?
Your ichha.
Ah, by your thoughts. That jnana agni dagdha karmanam. He is the one whose all karmas have been burnt by the knowledge. And why all karmas have been burnt? Because Jiva Bhav has been burnt. है ही नहीं. The snake has been burnt in the light of the knowledge of the rope. He gained the knowledge of what is there, not what I see. What are we all doing? What I see is Praman. What I see around and what I feel around and what I experience through my senses, that is our validity of it being there. So we are seeing a snake. So the whole Jagat is to us real. But what that Viveki Purush did, he said, what I'm seeing, let me question. Is it really there? When you take the example of rope and snake, the statement becomes clear. I see the snake. I see a snake. Because I see it, I say it is real. In one of the Upanishads, he says, because you see it, it is unreal. It's huge statement. We are not ready to accept this statement. Because I experience the world, it is unreal. Unreal as in, it's mithya. Because I experience it, because I'm seeing a snake, how many of us want to go through that fear and say, hold on, if I'm seeing a snake and I'm fearing a snake, is there everyone who's fearing a snake, or is there someone who is not fearing the snake? What should I look for? That is the snake fear in everyone, or is somebody freed of this snake fear? A thinking person will do what? Will should I continue to live with the snake fear? Because if I look right and left, they both have snake fear. If I look behind, snake fear. If I look the one immediate ahead, snake fear. What should I do? Disha, everywhere. Look another place. Is someone there who doesn't have snake fear? And that is what Vivekananda asked Ramakrishna in a different way. Can you see God? मीन्स सभी को दुनिया ऐसी दिखती है या कोई विकल्प है, कोई एक्सेप्शन है? बिकॉज इवन इफ देर इज वन एक्सेप्शन इन द एंटायर जनरेशन, generations forward and backward also, even if there's one example who doesn't have the snake fear, that gives me the hope that I can be freed also of the snake fear. I can seek, how did this person become fearless of the snake? And I go seek that. And that fourth chapter, we are on fourth chapter only. Yeah, we are on fourth. He's going to ask. Such a Gyani, as we move ahead, I hope we can maintain the thought flow. He'll ask later on that such a Gyani will only talk when someone comes and asks him. So, one such, if someone comes and says, let me go and look for someone, and he says, okay, this person doesn't have fear of snake, and he says, tell me, how did you become fear of the snake? Then the Gyani is obliged to teach if someone comes and asks. So he says, if he is asked, now this person also has started having a suspect. Vivek Shakti jag gayi. Why must I suffer the snake? Is there a way of not suffering the snake? And so he goes, looks first for, and everybody goes through this. Rather than looking for happiness, is there a person, Apta Purush, the one who has seen this falsity of this world that I'm beginning to suspect? And so that person goes, and this now one who has is free of the snake perception starts the teaching to this who's suspecting already. What is the desire in this? What is that mumukshutvam here in this example? What will you identify mumukshutvam here in the example?
The desire.
The desire for becoming freed, possibility of freedom from snake fear. That is mumukshutvam. And so the teaching starts, and the teacher says, look what is there. That's actually should be the only aphorism and the teaching. Look what is there. Look what is there. Look what is there. In one of the Upanishads, I think it is there. Maybe Chandogya. In a slightly different way, but idea must be the same as I'm saying now. Look what is there. What follows from there, once I know that it's not a snake but rope, means I know the reality, yes. In this example, and if you take the drishtant at the drashtant, once I know that this jagat is mithya, it ceases to be a cause of suffering for me. Once I know that jivatvam is mithya, it no longer is bothering me. It, I have no more searching of paripurnata. What follows from there is nothing follows. You are paripurna. You are liberated. You are sitting ever in Satchit Ananda Bhav. There is nothing to do. You are krita kritya. You have done what is to be done. The rest of whatever you will do will only be as per your prarabdha. He's going to talk in the next verses. As per your prarabdha, if you have any karmas left, someone is dependent on you and you have some karmas left in the world, by your prarabdha, you'll only be doing them for its own sake, or you may be doing karmas for loka sangraha, or you may do nothing at all. Anything. You are freed of everything after that. So I'm coming back to that statement because I think that statement is important. Look what is there. How much teaching is there in this? Look what is there. कितना है? Look what is there. When we say look what is there, are you using your physical eyes? Look what is there. That brings us, vichar will bring us to this where you recognize Atma Zakarta. And all this is only at the realm of Prakriti. And that reminds me, there was a question you had asked. I hope it had got answered because I'd answered it in the class itself. Binaji, your question I just saw in the morning somewhere. Both in action and inaction result in fruit is one of the questions you had asked 7 days ago. Both action result. So I had explained it in the class itself. Action results in fruit is of course yes. Inaction directly doesn't result in fruit. Inaction means you are doing something else, which is an action, which results in fruit. Absence of action means abhav. The principle is from abhav, there is no bhav utpatti. So if there is nothing there, you cannot create anything. So if there is no action, you cannot create any result. That was your question, but we'd taken it up at that time. So, and the rest I think is answered. So is that clear so far, everybody? So his karma is burnt in, means now there is no snake. The example, another example they give in the Shastra is very beautiful. A rope. What is the strength of a rope? Say a thick rope used to tie, the boats also, you anchor them to the what is that called? You tie them, and as the rope is lying on the ground and it catches fire, you've not changed the shape, but the rope is now burnt. When it is burnt, it still looks like a rope. आभास है, looks appears like a rope, but when you try to use it to bind something, it disintegrates. It cannot now bind you. They say Gyani's karmas are like that. If your jiva bhav is corrected, if there's no ahankar to karma, then any karma that you do is like a burnt rope. It doesn't bind you. कर्म आभास है ये, असली कर्म नहीं है. That it can generate a fruit. It cannot generate a fruit because these are so subtle if you sit and think about them. फल की उत्पत्ति कर्म से है कि जीव भाव से है? कर्ता से कर्म की फल उत्पत्ति है. कर्म तो साधन है. कर्ता भोक्ता बनना चाहता है और वो भोक्ता बनना चाहता है इसलिए कर्ता बनता है. The first desire is atripti, and that atripti means abhoktritvam, feeling of that I'm not complete. I want to be complete. That bhoktritvam is what I want, and for that I take on kartritvam. So our karmas are all based on desires and sankalp, and root of it is avidya. Such a one whose karmas are freed of all this, tam ahuhu buddhaha, those who know, they call him panditam. Pandit. Who's pandit? The one who knows. Remember in the first chapter or beginning of the second chapter, Krishna had told Arjun, you talk very wise like a pandit, but you are murkha. What verse was that? You speak like a pandit. There, the definition of pandit was given. What is the definition of pandit? If you can go back, I think Vani can find the definition also. All of you can find, but because she's worked on them, so I know. Go back and find. Second chapter, Pandit ka definition. The one who has Atma, Anatma, Vidya is a Pandit. Such a one is called a wise one, is called a real accomplished one. So now we'll just see the Bhashyam a little bit. Is this okay? Verse clear? Clear? What is clear to us? I'm just joking, okay? Just making it a little light. What is clear to us? The Gyani is clear or the Agyani is clear to us?
How to become a Gyani.
Correct. Both avasthas become clear, and it's become clear to us that we have to aspire to be a Gyani. Correct.
It's an eye-opener to you also, like, to your own feelings and your thoughts.
Exactly. Correct. So just to nail down and consolidate the verse, let's do the Bhashyam. The verses, as I said, the words of Shankaracharya and Madhusudanji in particular, all acharyas in the traditional sense are so unfolding. They directly reveal the meaning. So, yasya, referring to the person, who's this? Yathokta darshan. Yatha ukta darshan. Darshan means देखने वाला. Yatha ukta, as said. What is said? What was said?
that काम संकल्प के बिना
No. That is an explanation coming for this verse. But yatha ukta, as has been said. What was said of the Gyani refers to the previous verse. Ukta, as said, the one who sees. What does he see?
He does karmas, his karmas, action and inaction, he realizes that, right?
Ha, correct. He, the one who sees action in inaction and inaction, action. Ukta, ye kaha hai upar. That person who sees this. What about him? Sarve. Sarve means yavantaha. As many as you can think of it. Up to whatever you can think. Sarve. Samarambhaha. Sarvani karmani. It's actually a grammatical way of saying Sarvani karmani samarabhyante iti samarambhaha. It's referring to the person who's doing what gets a beginning is called a karma. That is having a beginning. So, such a one whose karmas, all karmas, kama sankalpa varjitaha. Kamaihi, kamaihi means all calm, all desires. Referring to all the calms, desires. Tat karana, karanaha, tat karanaischa. The cause of all these desires. What is that? It is sankalpaihi. The sankalpas before. Now we've explained it, so we're just quickly running through. The sankalpas before. Uh, right? Tat karanaihi sankalpaihi varjitaha. Varjitaha is otherwise free of, but muddhaiva, mudha eva cheshta matraha anushthiyante. It is only seen as if it is a um mere cheshta, just looks up to be like putting an effort. Anushthiyante, abides in. Mudha is an appearing, let's put it like this. Mudha eva means it's a cheshta which appears like a cheshta, but hai nahi cheshta. Effortless for such a person, but it looks as if he's doing karma, but it will not be called a karma. Why will it not be called a karma? If you've got the introduction today,
काम नहीं
हाँ,
काम नहीं
because there is no atripti and sukh ki asha riding on the karma. वो लक्षण नहीं है उसके अंदर, उसके कर्म में वो लक्षण नहीं है. The karma does not have that ingredient which calls it as a karma. What makes it a karma? The ingredient that by gaining this I will be happy. That ingredient is missing in, is not there, because they have recognized they are ever happy. So mudha eva. So their karmas are not actual karma. They look like karma. Karma abhas hai wo. That cheshta matra. It's only effort going on, work going on, not effort also. It's work going on. Cheshta ho rahi hai. Anushthiyante. They are doing it. Such a person pravrittena chet. If he was already such a person, he, she, whatever you want to call it, Gyani, if a Gyani was already in pravritti before, pravritti means he was busy in society, like Janaka, King Janaka. He was already living as a king when he got Atma Vidya. When he became established, he became a Gyani. Because he's already in pravritti, he continues his karma. But how? Loka sangrahartham. Just for the sake of people, not mounting on the fact that he does loka sangraha because he will get happiness out of it. He does only whatever benefits, whoever asks, whatever asks. He's just, his karmas are for the benefit of others. Nivrittena chet. And if he's withdrawn from all karmas, like Ramana, there are many such. Once you have established knowledge, you are free of any obligation. You can be in pravritti or in nivritti. Both are okay. If in pravritti, their karmas will be for loka sangraha. If in nivritti, their karma is, I love this, chet, jivan matra artham, only for the sustenance of the body and life. They do only that much work, what is necessary to sustain body and life. Not even loka sangraha, because they are in a mode of nivritti. Before they gained knowledge also. So they haven't taken up any much work before itself. So they were always in the state of nivritti, atma vichar, atma chintan, only doing that much karma that sustains this body. So they didn't take obligations from people, they didn't interact unnecessarily, so that you give and take, because you give, you take, or you take, you give, whatever it is. There is no such done. They are living a life only to sustain life. That's it in this sharir. Such a one, pravritti or nivritti. If it's pravritti, I'm repeating, such a jnani's karma is only for loka sangraha. And if it is nivritti, such a jnani's karma, whose kam and sankalp are devoid, for both of them are devoid. Pravritti may be devoid and nivritti may be devoid. Even if they are in a pravritti marg, they don't have kam and sankalp. Therefore, they do loka sangrahartham for the sake of loka sangraha. Even if they are in nivritti, they still don't have kam and sankalp. It's a common avastha between them. It's the external appearance that seems different to those who look from the standpoint of avidya. They will conclude differently. Oh, he's such a dynamic person. Oh, he's such a recluse. Because what are they able to see? They cannot see the inner establishment. They are only seeing the external engagement. Therefore, concluding based on anybody's external actions, Jnani's external actions, even in the stage of learning, when you are growing up, you must have heard it at your homes. Our parents told us never judge anybody on, especially those who are seen to be in a spiritual path. Don't judge anybody, don't judge a teacher, don't judge a guru, don't make your conclusions based on your perception of them, because your perception will be based on external expressions. What is their internal state? How do you know? You can only know when you, as I just started in the class, only a jnani can know an ajnani's perception. But an ajnani will not know a jnani's perception till he becomes a jnani himself. And when there are two jnanis, then what happens? They'll probably just acknowledge each other because there's nothing to say and nothing to do. No? High five. You've got it, I got it. Finish. Janma Pura. No? They'll probably acknowledge, and that's it. Mm. In other words, it is only for the sake of Jivan Matra or for dynamism or recluse. External expressions will have absolutely zero effect. Even to say zero is kind of qualifying it. Has no effect, no being. They're unrelated. Their internal state is completely unrelated. Yes. Um, Very good. That's a good observation. Which means the peace, Peace, Shanti of a person like Janaka is ever undisturbed by action. No sukha or dukha would be like inaction. Yes, and Ramana would be action in action. Excellent. Very good examples. Good. You got. We have then understood the principle, and we've also understood our way towards it. Then, so he says, जीवन मात्र अर्थम तम ज्ञान अग्नि दग्ध कर्माणम तम उसका ज्ञान अग्नि दग्ध कर्माणम इज इन द मूलम कर्मादौ अकर्म आदि दर्शनम कर्मों में अकर्म और अकर्म में कर्म दैट ज्ञानम दैट नॉलेज तत एव दैट नॉलेज इज द अग्नि. What is the fire of knowledge? To be able to recognize a karta, a bhokta, atma while action is there, and to be able to recognize that in a karma of jiva bhav is also kartritvam established. That knowledge here, tateva agnihi, that agni, tena, in which jnana agnina, by that jnana agni, by not tena, in which, by that jnana agni, dagdhani, burnt, all burnt, it's plural, all burnt. What? Shubha, ashubha lakshanani karmani. All burnt means what? Shubh and ashubh, punya and pap. All karma phal, all karmas, therefore all karma phal. What is लक्षण जिसका शुभ और अशुभ है, which means पुण्य एंड पाप, वो कर्म जो पुण्य और पाप देते हैं, those fruits have been burnt. He is no longer the center of them. Even if he's got it collected in sanchit karmas, all sanchit karmas are burnt in this jnana agni. That's why he has no rebirth. A jnani is not born again. So shubh ashubh lakshanani karmani yasya, jiska, or because of this knowledge, whose शुभ अशुभ लक्षण कर्म भी जल चुके हैं, खत्म हो गए हैं, नष्ट हो चुके हैं, destroyed for good. They have no longer the capacity to generate a fruit. The seed is burnt. Once a seed is burnt, it cannot produce a plant. So what are their karmas like if they are in pravritti? That karma abhas is clearly like, you know how you have an, from far off, you have nowadays very good artificial plants, very good quality artificial plants. If you see them from far, what do they look? They look real.
Like a real plant.
They look like a real plant. You know, you go close to it, supposing it's a rose, a flower. From far, oh, it's a rose. What do you, when you go near it, why is it not a
Not the
rose?
character.
Why?
Not the character of the room.
Yeah. And which character it doesn't have?
And
Huh? Sorry?
Smell.
Smell.
Smells.
Fragrance and
What?
even the feel.
Fragrance and
The feel of
feel
the
of it. Yeah, correct. But important, what makes a rose is its fragrance. That's a primary lakshan. कर्मों का primary लक्षण क्या है? If you've got this example, you should answer this. When I say primary lakshan of karam, means when I engage myself in karam, what is the primary lakshan that I will engage myself in karam?
Getting fun, Deepti.
Getting phal. What is the primary lakshan?
Fulfilling desires.
Fulfilling desire. So, what is the primary lakshan? What is from where I will want a phal? We've already.
Searching for happiness.
हाँ, atripti is the primary lakshan. That primary lakshan is atripti. ज्ञानी की वो तृप्त हो चुकी है ही नहीं वो तृप्ति. So उसका karam is like an artificial flower. Looks like a karam, but it has no capacity to do anything. It is just appearing like real. Yes. Just looks to be real. Whereas what is अज्ञानी's karam? कर्म है वो, क्योंकि वो फल जनित करेगा. It will create a phal. That karma, because of kartritvam, will generate a fruit. And that fruit is what he says is not seen. So his karma is only आभास. आभास word is big. कर्म का आभास. लग रहा है कि ये बहुत कर्म कर रहे हैं. Very dynamic. And that is why unse, if you ask them to stop doing loka sangraha, what will happen? I'm repeating the question in case the question is not clear. प्रवृत्ति में ज्ञानी लोक संग्रह के लिए कर्म कर रहा है. The one who is in pravritti is doing his action for loka sangraha. And if they have to stop doing the action for loka sangraha, what will happen? I have put the question in reverse to see if you are getting the concept and idea and knowledge.
रिजल्ट कुछ नहीं होगा उसका क्योंकि कोई कामना ही नहीं है.
Excellent. You were saying something else, Malini, or the similar thing?
Same thing.
Excellent. Then you've got it. कोई काम कुछ भी नहीं होगा. He'll be unaffected. That means his loka sangraha is not for his sukha prapti. So if you ask him to stop doing loka sangraha, he will stop doing loka sangraha. His inner state is not affected by doing or not doing. He never wanted anything out of it in the first. He's not connected to that karma. अपने लिए है ही नहीं उसका, अपनी दृष्टि नहीं है उसमें. So all those who practice loka sangraha, in karma yoga, you practice karma loka sangraha. Supposing you pitch up a higher goal, you pitch up a higher purpose, etc. If you're practicing karma yoga and for some reason you cannot do it, what will happen to your mind? You will get a little disturbed, affected. That means this loka sangraha was for, excuse me, even if I was looking upon it as a source of my happiness, I will be affected when it will be removed. That's the big difference between a jnani's karma and a ajnani's karma, and both outside will be looking the same. दोनों का सेम दिखेगा. Therefore, ज्ञानम तत् एव अग्निः तेन ज्ञान अग्निना दग्धेना शुभ अशुभ लक्षणानि कर्माणि यस्य तम आहुः, जिसके ये कर्म जल चुके हैं उसको आहुः कहते हैं परमार्थतः. From a paramārthik stand, panditam is called pandit. By who? Buddhaha. And who are these Buddhaha? Brahmavidaha. By those who have Brahmavidya, they call such a one whose karmas are free of karma and sankalp. Why are they free of काम and संकल्प? Because ज्ञान अग्नि से कर्म भस्म हो गए हैं. और कौन सा ज्ञान? कर्म में अकर्म और अकर्म में कर्म. Therefore, Atma is ever a karta and never in sangha with anatma. And karma is only in the realm of anatma and can never connect to atma. The one who has that knowledge, for such a one, all their karmas are burnt. And thereafter, their karmas are only like karma abhas. And that is it. And then in the 20th verse, now he says there will be Sangati, we'll come to that later. I'll just introduce and then we'll move on to the next time. Can someone chant it quickly? We have just 2-3 minutes. So.
Should I chant it?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatripto nirashayah कर्मण्यभिप्रवर्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराशयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवर्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः.
You said pravartopi.
प्रवर्तोऽपि.
Pravrittopi. This is Rikar. Karmanyabhi pravrittopi. So now he says, continuing the same Gyani's point, Tyaktva. In this verse, Gyani is explained with an idea that what should an Agyani also aspire for? How can he reach that point? So Gyani, how did he become a Gyani? That's explained. His state that is explained, and that's why we said this is parallel to Sthita Prajna. The Lakshanas of Sthita Prajna are sadhanas for sadhak. This verse is a sadhana for sadhak. Describing his position, they are giving us our sadhana. What is it? Tyaktva, having given up. Chodkar. Tyakt. Completely. What have they left? Karma phala asangam. Judna with karma phal. So, what was your Karam Yog saying? As a sadhak, what are you supposed to do? Detach from the karma phal. What is this person? He's established, detached from karma phal. We slip into it more often than not, but by continuous practice, by persistence, we reach the same point. Means you establish in remaining detached from karma phal. Because then what? Nitya triptaha is ever content. Nirashrayaha has no dependence. Nirashray. No dependence. He's going to explain the words in details later. Karmani abhipravrittaha api. Even if he remains engaged in karmas, abhipravrittaha. Pravrittaha, pravritti, marg mein. Abhipravrittaha, engaged completely, pursuing pravritti marg, which is not marg but seen to be engaged in actions. Even then, naiva kinchit karoti saha. Na eva kinchit. Na karoti. Doesn't do. Saha, he. Kinchit, anything, whatever, nothing. Kinchit, even this much, he does nothing. While he seems to be engaged in karma, he does nothing. Why doesn't he do nothing? Why does he do nothing? How he doesn't do anything? We just saw in the explanation so far already. So he doesn't do anything at all, even though engaged in karma, and he has completely abandoned attachment to karma phal, established in that state, nitya triptaha and nirashrayaha. Okay, we'll continue next week. Divya, can you also conclude?
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभि परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोकरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Recording stopped.
Hari Om, everyone. Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Dhanyavad, Diptiji. Very beautiful class. The
Yes.
examples were amazing.
I'm glad. Thank you so
Very
much.
nice. Thank
There
you
is
so
a
much.
question. So, Gyani's karma is almost like that of Krishna. Not almost like that of Krishna, is like that of Krishna. If he is in Pravritti. Krishna is in Pravritti. Pravritti means, so he is doing karma for Loka Sangraha. So if a Gyani is also doing karma for Loka Sangraha, identical. There will be no difference between them. Okay? Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank
and
you,
happy tomorrow, I think it is. So
Yes.
May
Chapter 2, verse 11.
Of
Pandita.
Correct. Good. The definition in the Bhashyam, mark it. Okay? Good.
Hari.
All right, Hari Om, and happy Sankranti, everyone, and happy all New Year. God bless.
Diptiji, Ramana Maharishi used to teach, right?
No, he never taught as in a parampara of acharyas. He would only answer questions when raised. That also much later, when few devotees established his ashram, and then they said people started thronging, coming, and they wanted to hear him, but he didn't have that systematic, like you have all these verses. He never said. He always first, initially, of course, I know, he just gave answers to questions that people raised. And his answers were only from the state of established Atmavidya. He never moved away from that vision in giving on, because ultimately everything rested and boiled. The whole of samsara is nothing at all. It's not there. It's just, so what are you going to find solution here? So seek that. He would say engage in discernment, engage in thinking. In that sense, he was a real Vedantin. ज्ञान मार्ग इन टोटो. विचार से ही आप सब नष्ट कर सकते. अविद्या नष्ट हो जाएगी तो फिर कर्म को क्या आप सॉल्व करोगे? कर्म मार्ग में तो यू विल जस्ट कीप डूइंग गुड कर्मा. keep wanting to earn punya or chitta shuddhi. But when you have completely destroyed um, avidya, then where is the karma and suffering? So, according to him, there was no suffering, also, really speaking. Okay.
And one more thing, Aditi ji, when you meditate on something called the Atma Akarta hai, right? Does it start to sink in? Does it start to kind of get strong when you keep telling yourself, keep repeating?
Uh, the thought will get strong enough, and in time, if you keep developing chitta shuddhi through other measures also, yes, that thought will seek the right outlet for sure. It'll seek the right, it will generate the right atmosphere, means external environmental um, possibility for you to recognize it also. Which means everything, whatever jnanam needed, if you need some correction in the process, the right correction, the right teacher if it's needed, the guru need whatever is needed in the process. But mere repetition will not bring about an effect directly. Means
But
बोल बोल
thoughts
के
will
बोल
change.
सिर्फ बोल बोल के नहीं होएगा. Then the process would be only सभी को बोल दिया जाता, meditate on aham akarta. बट अहम अकर्ता बोलने का एक एडवांटेज है that the thought gets strong, and when the thought gets strong, it's like a desire built up. Then it will have its work. It will take you to the right understanding. It will bring you to the right understanding ultimately.
धन्यवाद.
Okay. All right, everyone. Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hari Om. Dhanyavad.